Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin Liber Primus, Chapter 8. This is exercise E, the parsing exercise. We are parsing Latin into English. And by parsing, I mean the exercise or act of reading, of giving the parts of each word in a sentence. So how do we read? We start at the left with the first word. We read each word moving towards the right, parsing each word as we encounter them. And hopefully by the end of the sentence, we will have understood the sentence. So when we parse a Latin noun, we are to give the dictionary entry of that noun. We are to look at the noun in the sentence and determine its case, those things that end in tive, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and ablative. In the sentence, we can also determine the noun's number, whether it's singular or plural. And then from the noun's case, we determine its reason, that is, its syntactical function, its job in the sentence. So if we have a noun that is in the nominative case, its reason will be either the subject or the predicate nominative. When we get to a Latin verb, we will parse it by giving the dictionary entry, that is the principal parts of that verb, and then in the sentence we will determine the person, the number, and the tense of the verb. Starting with sententia prima, the first one. So ubi, first word ubi, starting at the left, and we're going to read each word one at a time towards the right until we get to the end. Ubi, ubi is either an interrogative adjective, where we're asking a question, where or when. The reason it has two meanings, either where or when, is because it can either, it's asking a question of something either in space, where is the thing located, or in time, temporally, having to do with when is the thing located, when is it happening. It could be either one, and to a Roman it wouldn't matter. Also we wouldn't know if it's an interrogative yet. We're going to have more information. It could also be a temporal conjunction, meaning that it is a conjunction which is introducing us to a temporal clause, and that's when. And it's not asking a question, it's not interrogative. We're just stating when something happened, then something else happened. If so, then this is not the main sentence. This is then this will be a clause. So we don't know which. We need more information. Let's continue. Signum, signum, from signum, e, neuter, sign, signal, can also mean military standard. Now that form signum, signum, e, neuter, it's a second declension, so that is either nominative, singular, and its reason will be either the subject or the predicate nominative. So the sign or the signal will be the thing doing the action of the verb. Or if we have a linking verb, it could be a predicate nominative. Accusative singular could also be accusative singular because those pesky neuters can be, they have the same form for either nominative and accusative. So signum, signi, signo, signum, signo. So either the accusative singular, if it's accusative, it's probably going to be the direct object. It could be motion towards if it had a preposition in front of it, like in or odd or sub, indicating motion towards, but we don't have that. So direct object is our best bet. But we don't know. Once again, our options are open. It's either the subject or the direct object. Or predicate nominative, but it's probably not. Next word is proili, proili. From proilium, e, neuter, means battle, combat, a hurly-burly. So this form, proili, because it's neuter, the plural would be proilia, proilia, and it is not proilia, proilii. Should be another I here, proilii, battle. It's the genitive singular, genitive of possession, proilii, proilii. So genitive singular, and the only reason you know for genitive is going to be showing possession, possession. So we have ubi signum proilii. Now, possession, that means that the battle is possessing the signal, or we put an of in front of the noun showing possession, the signal of battle. We can't say battle signal in Latin as is. We can't put the word battle right next to the word signal and then just leave it alone. One of those words is going to have to change into a genitive. Genitive is like the adjectival form of the noun. It's like it's the noun form that is allowed to then modify another noun. For example, you can't say the word doghouse in Latin as is. You would have to turn it into house of dog. You have to turn one of those words into a genitive, of dog. You can't say battle signal in Latin as is. You have to say signal of battle. This holds true in the Romance languages today because they're descendants of Latin. In fact, they are actually just evolved Latin. So signum proeli, the signal of battle. So the signal of battle, the battle signal, that's going to be either the subject or the direct object, where proelii is going to be the genitive singular. Nuntius, nuntius, that's nuntius, e, masculine. It means messenger. And this form nuntius can only be the nominative singular. That means that it is going to be either the subject or the predicate nominative. Well, we can pause here and move back and take a look at signum. That tells us something about signum. Signum now cannot be nominative because we already have one of those. Nuntius has to be nominative. It cannot be anything else. Nuntius, nuntii, nuntio, nuntium, nuntio. Nuntii, nuntiorum, nuntiis, nuntios, nuntiis. So it has to be nominative. It has to be the subject. Signum could be either the subject or the direct object. Well, now we know. We cross out subject because it can't be the subject if nuntius has to be the subject. Therefore, signum has to be the direct object. So we know that the nuntius, the messenger as the subject, is going to do something to the signal of battle, because signum is the direct object of some upcoming verb. So when the messenger did something to the signal of battle, you can see how the suspense builds as you're translating, because the verb, the action, comes at the end. You just sort of put all the pieces into place, and the verb kind of puts them into place for you. Tuba, that comes from tuba, I, feminine. It means trumpet, not tuba, trumpet. And this form, it's going to be ablative, tuba, with a macron over the A, must be ablative. And most of the ablatives that you know, ablative of location, ablative of separation, ablative of accompaniment, ablative of manner, those ablatives pretty much always take a preposition of some kind. The ablative of means, the ablative of instrumentality, is the only ablative you know so far which does not. It never takes a preposition. It is just the noun in the ablative with no help from a preposition. So this is going to be the ablative of means because there's no preposition. Not a preposition in sight. It's just the noun tuba in the ablative just by itself. Tuba, by means of. So the subject is going to do some action of the verb to the signal of battle, and he's going to do that action by means of, with help of, by the use of a trumpet. By this point, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. Hopefully, maybe. Anticipatory parsing is a good thing, guessing what's about to happen. Dederat, from do, dare, dedi, datus, means to give. Dederat, erat. So this is the perfect stem of the verb from the third principal part, chop off the I, and the erat ending. Third, singular, pluperfect, he had given. So the messenger is the subject, because he must be in the nominative case. The messenger had given the signal of battle by means of a trumpet. In English, we could also say he gave it on a trumpet. But if you see that sentence in English, the messenger gave the signal on the trumpet, don't write in tuba if you were to turn that into Latin. In tuba, on the trumpet. He gave the signal on the trumpet. He's not in tuba standing on the trumpet. That's what that would say in Latin. He gave the signal while he was standing in tuba on the trumpet. That'd be an ablative of location. So we have this prepositional phrase in English, on a trumpet, that can also mean that we're playing the trumpet. We're giving the signal on a trumpet means that we are playing the trumpet in such a way that it's making a signal sound. Okay, and then the comma, thank you English editors, that indicates that we have reached the end of our clause. So we're not asking a question here, are we? This is when starting a temporal clause. A temporal conjunction to introduce us to a temporal clause, a time clause. It's giving us the time when something happened. When the messenger had given the signal of battle, the battle signal on the trumpet, there's more stuff about to happen. The main clause has yet to happen. What happened when the messenger had done this? Pluperfect. Nostri, from, noster, nostra, nostrum. It's an adjective, our, ours, belonging to us. That form nostri can either be the genitive singular, masculine or neuter. The feminine would be nostri, or it could be nominative plural, masculine, nostri. Now, I went ahead and scanned ahead. Yeah, I kind of cheated. There's no noun that nostri modifies. Nostri is an adjective. There's no noun that goes with it. So therefore, we're going to treat this adjective as a substantive. Substantive is just a fancy word for noun. We're going to treat this adjective as a substantive noun, so as a noun. So we're not going to say just, we could say ours. Ours did something, but we really mean that our people did something, or plural masculine, our men did something. This is nominative. This is going to be the subject of a main verb coming up. This is the main clause. This is a temporal clause, a time clause. When this happened, then this main clause happened. So nominative plural masculine, it's going to be the subject because it's in the nominative case. Ours, or our men, our people, our dudes, plural masculine, men. Contra, contra is a preposition meaning against, and it takes the accusative case. We're going against something. Copias, from copiae, aurum, feminine, plural. This is the this is the plural form of copiae, feminine, meaning plenty or resource. In the plural, it typically means forces or troops, because a general's resources are his forces, his troops. They're the stuff with which he works. So copiae, aurum, feminine. This word in the plural typically means forces or troops, especially if you're reading military commentaries or histories in which battles are concerned. Hey, like here. Wait, context is important? Yes, context is very important. Copias, copias, as. This is going to be the accusative plural feminine. So the accusative with the preposition contra, which takes the accusative and always only the accusative. It's almost like an accusative of motion towards, but for reason you can just say accusative with contra. Our men against the forces. Inimikas, what kind of forces are they? They are inimicus they are unfriendly or hostile. This is an adjective. This form inimikas is accusative, plural, and feminine. It agrees in gender numbering case with the accusative plural feminine kopias, so it modifies it. It describes hostile, unfriendly, describes kopias, the forces or troops, against the hostile forces. Magna, from magnus aum, great, large, big in size or importance. The magna, macron over the final a, that is the ablative singular feminine. So the ablative singular feminine form. Keep going. Cum, preposition, cum plus the ablative, always and only takes the ablative. It can either show accompaniment, so accompaniment with whom you are doing something, so in the company of someone in the ablative. Or it can show ablative of manner with an abstract concept, which is almost like an adverbial phrase, where with something, with boldness, with daring, with diligence, with care, with love. So like magna cum amore, with great love. Multo cum amore, with much love. And audacia, I, feminine, daring, boldness. Okay, this is the ablative singular form because macron over the final a, audacia. Here we have magna cum audacia. So we know this is not accompaniment. This is an ablative of, that's right, Wayne Manor, ablative of manner. It's describing the manner in which the action happened. how did the action happen? It answers the question how. It's adverbial. Notice it is a prepositional phrase, even in Latin, and the word order must be adjective, preposition cum, and then the noun. If you want, you can omit the cum. You don't need it. You can just say magna audacia. If there were no adjective, magna, and you just wanted to say they did something with boldness, with daring, you must use the preposition cum plus the ablative, cum audacia. And then the verb, the final verb that puts everything in place. The puzzle is complete. The picture is set. Pugno, pugnare, pugnavi, pugnatus, to fight. This is the third plural. They did it. Perfect tense, and they did it in the past. They did the thing. All right, our sentence is complete. When the messenger had given the signal of battle, or the battle signal, with the trumpet, on the trumpet, by means of the trumpet, when that happened, what then did happen? Our men fought against the hostile forces with great daring. Notice that the temporal clause employs the pluperfect tense to indicate that it occurred prior to, before, the main clause which happened in the perfect tense. Which action happened first? First, the messenger gave the signal. Our dudes did not fight, they did not attack, they did no combating until the messenger gave the signal of battle on the trumpet. So when that had happened, then our dudes did the thing. Notice the use of tenses. Latin is very precise in its use of tenses. Optime. Secunda. Amicos meos iam expectavero, ubi e villa ambulabo. So amicos, from amicus a It's an adjective, but it usually is used as a substantive. So amicus e masculine friend, usually used as a noun. So meos, this has got to be accusative and plural and masculine. It's probably going to be the direct object because there is no preposition that goes with it to indicate motion. Meos, from meos a it's an adjective, my, mine, and it's modifying the noun amicos. It is accusative, plural, and masculine as well. So amicos meos, my friends, accusative, plural, and masculine, my friends, and something's happening to my friends. Some action is occurring to them because they are the direct object. Yam, yam is an adverb. And it means now, but it means now either in the past, present, or future. Whereas nunc, the adverb nunc, now, means now only in the present time. Yam can be used in past, present, or future. When it's used in the past, it usually means then. Now, at that time, then, in the past. Yam meaning now in the present, or it can also in the past mean already. In the present, it just means now. In the future, it usually means soon, or it will then at that time be. So we have to know what the verb is because adverbs usually go with verbs. They got the word verb in their name. They can also modify adjectives and other adverbs. Keep your options open. Expectavero, expectavero, from expecto, expectare, expectave, expectatus, to wait for or to await. Takes an accusative direct object. Hey, we have one of those. That's right. So it is first person and singular, so I am doing the action, and it is future perfect. It's the future completed tense. It's on the perfect stem of the verb, and it's got ero, future perfect. I will have awaited. I will have waited for. So this adverb yam is now in the future. So I will have soon waited for my friends. I will have then waited for my friends. We're going to pick the one that sounds the best because context is key. I will have waited for my friends then. Ubi, ubi. Where or when, if we're asking a question, interrogative, we'll have a question mark. Or it's introducing a temporal clause, like in the previous sentence. Ubi e villa, where or when, x, out of the villa, this is the ablative, villa, I, feminine, farmhouse. So ablative of separation, out of the farmhouse. Ambulabo, ambulabo, first person singular, future of ambulo, ambulare, ambulavi, ambulatus, to walk. So how about when out of the farmhouse, moving out of the farmhouse, ablative of separation, I will walk, when I will walk out of the farmhouse. So when I will walk out of the farmhouse, I will have, we can say already, I will have already waited for my friends. I will have already waited for my friends because that is the now action that will have happened. When, at the time when, I will walk out of the farmhouse. When I will walk out of the farmhouse, I will have already waited for my friends. It's almost like they stood me up. Darn. 3. Tertia. Si multa de concilio nostro cogita veritas, tum vestros socios convocabitis. Nice. So we have si. Si. Si is a conjunction meaning if. It does not mean yes. So if. Multa. Multa. Multa comes from the adjective multus aum, much, plural, many. This can either be the nominative singular feminine, much something in the feminine, or it can be nominative or accusative plural neuter, and that's probably what it's going to be here. Multa de, we've seen this plenty of times. Multa, much concerning something. De plus the de is a preposition plus the ablative, only takes the ablative. It can mean down from, showing separation, or it can also mean about, concerning. So concerning or about a concilium, concili, neuter, a plan, a counsel. It can also mean stratagem. It can also mean plot. So it's second declension neuter, de concilio. It's ablative because it's going with the preposition de. If much concerning, if much about the plan. What plan? Well, it's nostro, from noster, nostra, nostrum, our, ours, belonging to us. Oh, this is our plan, guys. Nostro. You didn't even know it, did you? Dative or ablative. It's going to be ablative because it's modifying concilio. It's ablative, singular, and neuter, as well as concilio is. So concerning our plan, much about our plan. Cogita veritas from cogito, cogitare, cogitavi, cogitatus. It's on the perfect stem, and it's got the future perfect ending. So second plural future perfect of to think. Ye will have thought. C, conditional. If ye will have thought much about our plan. Tum, then, adverb then, at that time. Vestros socios convocabitis. So vestros, from vester, vestra, vestrum, meaning your, yours, plural. It's plural yours. Tuus aum is the singular, yours singular. It's accusative plural masculine and it's modifying the noun socios, from socios, socii, masculine, meaning ally or comrade, meaning companion. So then your allies, your comrades, convocabitis. So this is accusative, doesn't have a preposition in front of it, so accusative, plural, and masculine. So probably going to be the direct object. There's no preposition around, right? Convocabitis, so second person plural, future of convoco, convocare, convocavi, convocatus, to not just voco, to call, but to cum voco or convoco, to call together, to summon something together, to summon an accusative direct object together. And ye will do it then. When? When will you do that? Oh, if you will have thought much about the plan. Then, thereupon, ye will summon your allies. If you will have thought much about the plan, if you will have thought many things about our plan, then, thereupon, ye will summon your plural allies, your comrades, your companions. Notice that the Latin is much more precise in its uses of tense than English is. If you will have thought about this, meaning that your thinking is done and completed, then you will do this. We don't often say that in English. I've heard you complaining about the future perfect already. So the future perfect, not something that I would ever use. Okay, well, it's much more common in English to use the present tense for the future because English is a Germanic language and German languages do that. So in everyday English, we would probably say, if you think much about the plan, if you think much about the plan, then you will summon your allies. So if you think, present tense. Germanic languages sometimes use the present tense for the immediate future. And English follows suit. Latin does not. Latin doesn't like that. Latin says this action is in the future and it's done and completed by the time this action happens. This is future perfect. This is future. Quarta. Fuerant in agris multi cum gladiis. Oh boy, that sounds pretty dangerous. So fuerant, this is your irregular old friend, sum esse fui futurus, to be. Fuerant, they had been, third person plural, pluperfect, they had been. In plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but in plus the ablative, which is what we have here, shows location. We have the ablative plural masculine of ager, agri masculine. So they had been in the fields. Okay, they had been in the fields. Well, who had been in the fields? We have multi from multus aon, much, plural, many. This is going to be, I know it could be genitive, singular, masculine, or neuter, but it's actually going to be nominative, plural, masculine, and it is a substantive, which is a fancy word for noun. So not just many something, but we could just say many men, plural, masculine, men, many dudes, the many. So many had been in the fields, or many men had been in the fields. Many people had been in the fields. Cum, preposition, takes the ablative to show either accompaniment or manner. Gladius, from gladius, masculine, a sword, Roman's short sword, a gladius hispanicus. They stole it from the Celtiberians. Gladius, this is going to be the ablative plural masculine. Could be dative, but because of the preposition cum, which always and only takes the ablative, my suspicions are driving me towards saying that this is ablative. So cum plus the ablative of accompaniment, they're with swords. They're in the company of swords. They got some swords with them. They're not doing this action by means of the swords. They're not in the fields because of, having used the swords to get there somehow. They're in the fields. There are many men. They're in the fields, and they're got swords with them. So many men had been in the fields with swords. Ooh, sounds like some sort of party. Quinta. Filiorum animos animasque agricolae saepe confirmabant. So filiorum, from filius masculine, son, son, male offspring. This is the genitive plural, so the only reason for genitive is possession. So sons, sons apostrophe, the sons, or of the sons, something of the sons. Animos, from animus masculine. So this is animus. This is the mind, as in this is the intellect. This is the rational seat. It can also mean courage, as in your demeanor, your mood. It can also mean heart. Thinking of hearts and minds. Hearts and minds. We're trying to win over the hearts and minds. So that would be animus. It's the rational seat, but it can also refer to courage, mindset, or mood. This is the accusative plural masculine form. It's probably going to be the direct object because I don't see a preposition anywhere nearby. So maybe the minds, the hearts, the courage, the mindsets of the sons' minds. Animas, we often see this word, these together, and they're very similar, and they come from the same root. Whereas animus is the rational seat, anima is the soul, the spirit. Animus is dying. It is it is mortal. Anima, the soul, is deathless. Anima, this is what gives us life. This is what animates us. So anima, I, feminine, soul or spirit. It's accusative, plural. Probably going to be the direct object. It seems to be coordinate with animos. They seem to be on the same level, especially because there's this que here. Que, conjunction, it's and. The reason it's attached to the end of the second word is so that it shows the close connection between these two units, between x and y. It's attached to the end of y. So x and y. You translate que before the word to which it is attached. So we could say minds and souls. The minds and souls, or the hearts and spirits of the sons. Agricolae. This could be the genitive singular masculine or nominative plural masculine of agricolae, masculine farmer. Don't really know. I have a hunch that it's nominative plural masculine, but hey, let's keep our options open. Saipe. Saipe is an adverb meaning often or oft. Adverbs usually modify verbs, but they can modify adjectives and other adverbs. But here we have confirmabant and the sentence ends. So this adverb saipe is modifying this verb confirmabant. The third plural imperfect of confirmo, confirmare, confirmavi, confirmatus. So they were confirming. Who? The subject. The subject were often confirming. The farmers were often strengthening, confirming, making strong. The farmers were often strengthening the direct object, the minds and the souls, the hearts and the spirits of the sons. We could also say their sons. It's implied to be their sons. The farmers were often strengthening the minds and souls, the hearts and souls of their sons. Optime sexta. Contra multos in Italia Galli inimici pugnaverant, sed Gallos appugnavimus. Contra, a preposition meaning against, takes the accusative case. That explains multos in the accusative case, plural masculine of multos a much, plural, many. Against, many, against the many. Reason for this is because of the preposition contra. You could also imply that's motion towards. It's like against. We're moving against the many. Many men, probably going to be a substantive. I don't see another accusative plural anywhere nearby, but I'll keep my options open. It's definitely going to be masculine. So against many men. In plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but in plus the ablative shows location. And here we have the ablative showing location. Italia, I, feminine, Italy. We are in Italy. Against many men in Italy. Galli, Galli, from Gallus a Gallic thing, something that is Gaulish, to do with the Gauls. It could be genitive singular masculine or neuter, or it's probably going to be a substantive, so acting as a noun, nominative plural masculine referring to the Gauls. The Gauls, Gallic men. Gallic men are Gauls. Against many people in Italia, Gallic men, the Gauls, who are inimici. Oh, they are also inimici. How sad. Inimicus a adjective meaning hostile, unfriendly. As a substantive, it can mean enemy. So we could say hostile Gauls, unfriendly Gauls, or enemy Gauls. Probably going to be the nominative plural subject of the verb. Hey, look, here's that verb. Pugnaverant. Third person plural, pluperfect of pugno, pugnare, pugnavi, pugnatus, to fight. So they, who's the they? The subject in the nominative. The enemy Gauls had fought against many men or many people in Italia. Ablative of location, that's where they did the verb. Comma, conjunction, but, one T. Now you perked up. Said, but, Gallos. Gallos once again, the Gauls, probably referring to the same ones. The Gauls, accusative, plural, masculine. Probably going to be the direct object, because I don't see a preposition around, and it's accusative. Direct object of some verb, like right here, appugnavimus, first person plural, perfect active, of opugno, opugnare, opugnavi, opugnatus, which means to attack, to assault. Not just pugno, but obpugno, to fight against, to go up against. But we attacked the Gauls. Ah, so the enemy Gauls had attacked. They had previously, pluperfect, had already attacked, or had already fought against many people, many men in Italy. But we then, afterwards, we then attacked the Gauls. So the pluperfect shows a prior action to the perfect. Septima. Porta verunt ne, cum diligentia copiae e casris impedimenta. So porta verunt ne, we've got porta, portare, portavi, portatus, third person plural. That ne there, it's like some sort of Robin Botton sci-fi horror movie alien parasite thing that attaches to the first word of a sentence to indicate that this sentence is now no longer human. I mean, now no longer is a declarative sentence, but an alien, I mean an interrogative sentence to be answered by a yes or no. We should have a question mark at the end. Let's take a peek. Oh, wow, we do. Okay, so yes or no. Third person plural, perfect of porto, portare, which means to carry. So there's the perfect stem. So it's perfect tense. They did something. What did they do? Did they carry? Because it's a question, right? Nay. Did they carry? Let's find out. Yes or no. Cum. Cum is a preposition meaning with and takes the ablative, only the ablative, either with ablative of accompaniment or ablative of manner, which will be adverbial to show how an action was done, how the carrying happened. Ah, diligentia, that answers that. It's diligentia I, feminine. Diligence, care, attention. So diligentia, it's ablative. So it's not going to be ablative of accompaniment. It's not like you're walking around with diligence or care. This is how you did the action. Cum diligentia, adverbial. How did they carry? Cum diligentia, with care, with attention. They carried with attention. Did they carry with care? I hope so. Copiae, copiae, from copia, I, feminine, but because it looks pretty plural, I mean, it could be genitive singular, resource, supply. If it's in the plural, it typically means forces, troops, copiae, aurum, feminine, plural, being the nominative case, showing the subject. We don't really have a subject yet. I mean, we know it's a third plural they, so if copiae has anything to do with the subject, it must be plural. E casris. So preposition ex plus the ablative. E casris. Remember, casra aurum is always neuter, always plural, and only has those forms. Casra, casrorum, casris, casra, casris. E casris. So from the singular camp in English, in Latin it's plural. E casris. Ablative of separation, out of the camp. Impedimenta. From impedimentum in neuter, a hindrance. This is the plural form because it's neuter. Impedimenta, aurum, always neuter, always plural. What are hindrances? Why, that's baggage. Rolly backpacks, baggage, that slow stuff the army has to take around to help them fight and win wars. Baggage. The baggage car, the baggage train is often attacked by the enemy because it is slow moving and a hindrance. It is a pain in the neck. So, do we have a subject? I think we do. The forces. Did the forces carry the baggage from the camp, out of the camp, with diligence, with care, with attention? Did they do that thing? Yes or no? Octava, sententia octava. Post bella ad multos socios vestros dona magna portavistis. So post bella, post, preposition, meaning after, behind, in either space or time. Takes only the accusative case, so we have bella, from bellum in neuter. It can be accusative or nominative plural, So either the subject or accusative. We just said this preposition takes the accusative. So bella is accusative plural going with the preposition post. After not just one war, but plural wars. After the wars. Ad, preposition plus the accusative showing motion towards or moving towards. Ad multos socios, moving towards many socios. Multus aum, adjective, modifying socios, masculine, ally, comrade. Too many comrades. After the wars, to or towards many comrades, many allies. Westeros, they are Wester, Westra, Westrum, your plural allies, y'all's many allies, the many allies of ye. Dona, from donum e neuter gift, something that you dodare give, dona. This is going to be plural because it's neuter, either the nominative or accusative. So it will be either the subject, dona gifts, or a direct object. So something will happen to the plural gifts in the accusative case. Magna probably will modify the noun dona, magna from magnus big, great, large in size or importance. Probably is also going to be nominative or accusative plural neuter, the subject or the direct object of some verb. Hey, look, now we know. Here's the verb. We also know who the subject is now. Tis, tis. The ending is istis. Make sure you know those perfect tense, personal endings. Isti it. Imus istis erunt. Here we have istis. Perfect stem portavo and then istis. Second person plural. Y'all carried. Y'all did carry. What did you carry? The direct object. Here's your accusative, direct object. The great gifts. Where'd they go? Ad multos socios vestros, to many of your allies, to your many allies. When? After the wars. After the wars, ye carried to your many allies great gifts. Ye carried great gifts to your many allies. Optime nona. Multa de fama copiarum nostrarum nostris inimicis nuntiaverent. So multa, from multus much, plural, many, either nominative singular feminine, much something in the feminine, or probably going to be plural neuter, either nominative or accusative plural neuter. Don't know. Much, many things day. Oh, we've seen this before. Many things, plural neuter, day plus the ablative, about, concerning something. Day takes the ablative. Fama, I, feminine, fame, report, reputation. Many things about the fame, about the report, about the reputation. Copiarum nostrarum, from copiae, arum, feminine, plural, forces or troops. Genitive of possession, possessing something, probably possessing the fama. Hopefully, maybe, let's find out. Nostrarum, from noster, nostra, nostrum. Ours, belonging to us. Modifying copiarum, also genitive, also plural, also feminine. So our forces fame, concerning our forces fame, concerning the fame of our forces. Genitive shows possession, possessing this noun, fama. Many things concerning the fame of our forces fame, our forces rep. Nostris. Did this wasn't a Roman who wrote this, put this word nostrarum, which means noster, right next to this word nostris, which also is noster, just put it in a different case? Oh yeah, if the Romans can do that, the Romans love to do that kind of stuff. Nostrarum nostris, oh yeah, they love doing that kind of stuff. They think it's fancy. And because of their looser word order, they can do stuff like that. So nostris, also from noster, nostra, nostrum. Only this one's going to be either the dative or ablative, plural, masculine, feminine, or neuter. It can be any gender. So we really need a noun to point us the way. Nostris. Inimicis. Okay, well this one will do. It's an adjective. Inimicus unfriendly, hostile. But it can stand in for a noun. It can be a substantive. which is a fancy word for noun. So from hostile, unfriendly, we can pull out hostiles or enemies, unfriendlies. To our unfriendlies. Now, it could be ablative by means of our unfriendlies, but that's kind of weird. Like, we used our enemies to do an action. I mean, it's kind of odd. I guess I could see it, but it's a little odd. The other option is that it's dative, indirect object, to or for the noun. Let's see. Nuntiaverent. All right, nuntiaverent. Third person plural. Future perfect of nuntia, nuntiare, nuntiavi, nuntiatus, to announce or to report. Okay, so the subject is they. Are the many things concerning the fame of our forces going to do the announcing to our enemies, dative indirect object? Or are they will have announced or reported many things about the fame, the report of our forces to our enemies? What is the thing that we're going to report to our enemies? The accusative direct object multa, the many things about the fame. Whose fame? Our forces' fame. To whom are we announcing the direct object many things? Who gets that? Who's the indirect object? Our enemies, dative indirect object. Optime and decima. Nonne Romani servos liberabant? Nonne, hopefully you can draw a line right there and separate non and ne. So ne, question expecting a yes or no answer, but when we attach it to known, now we're specifically and only asking for a yes answer. Well, we're hoping for a yes answer. You don't have to give the yes answer if it's not true, don't lie, but we're hoping, we're trying to influence a yes answer. Did you not do your homework? Didn't you do your homework? I'm hoping you say yes. Didn't you, did you not? Do you hear the not in there? That's the known. That's the known. Didn't you, did you not? That's the known. So we need to know the tense of the verb before we can accurately translate it into English. Let's go to Romani. From Romanus aum, it's an adjective meaning Roman. Here it is the nominative plural masculine Romans, the subject. So the Romans are doing something, right? Servos, from servus e masculine, meaning slave. It's accusative, it's plural, and it's masculine. The direct object, there's no preposition around. And then liberabant. So they were freeing. They were setting free. Nonne. So it's asking a question, an interrogative, expecting a yes answer. Were not the Romans freeing their slaves? Weren't the Romans freeing their slaves? Actually, yes, they did free a lot of slaves. Were not the Romans freeing their slaves? Didn't the Romans used to free their slaves? It's another way you could say this. Optime. Very well done. That wraps it up for this exercise, the parsing exercise E. We're now ready to move on to the next parsing exercise, parsing English and turning it into Latin. Vole te omnes.